second to roll over.
I think Earl said he was gonna roll on through as well.
Earl, let me shoot. You want to shoot Earl the
Oh, it told me it's gonna live stream. Okay, so you ain't gonna catch me out bad.
Come again?
It told me you went live. You're gonna catch me trying to be organic.
Oh, now it did.
Me in the words.
Now it did. That's it. We're definitely live now, squad. All right.
All right, we live. Y'all gotta go to the other channel. I ain't about to be holding my phone during this live. I'm focusing on the interview. So go to Man of Letters, YouTube Man of Letters. I'm gonna put the link in somewhere in this video. On my end. That was a quick little 100 people started.
Hey, all right, welcome everybody. Septas, Alavi, Starseed, Chidori, welcome. We've got quite the entourage rolling through the channel tonight. I'll have them sort of pop themselves off as we go. Thanks for showing up. Sorry we're a few minutes late. I'm stoked. We're going to be going over spiritual curriculum / we're just going to freestyle hard. We're going in with the freestyles tonight, any way, shape, or form that appears. So happy to have you guys here. 100% feel free with your questions and shit like that. That will definitely help this along on our end. It's nice to know where the energies are flowing, where they're headed, where they're needed, etc. Pasha, Seaflower, Nina, what up, everyone? Thanks for rolling through. So without further ado, Gibran, do you want to sort of give us a introduction, if you will, since you orchestrated this gathering?
I thank you very, very much. It's time to go into the Negro Tune Twilight Zone, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of what I do and who I am, I have to say, as a person has been borrowed. So you will hear me a lot give credit and thanks to a lot of people who are even in this room with anything that comes out of my mouth. My character, anything. It's just in terms of like a reflection. So I introduce myself as Rose. You can call me Rose. My real name that I choose to show is Ambrose. And for that, that's pretty much what it is. So, you know, Rose Ambrose. There's no way to miss it with anybody. All right. I asked everybody to come here today because I wanted to establish something. First and foremost, free Larry Hoover, because the entire module that represents is the ability to build on sovereign land. What does that mean in the grander sense of that? That means having a school of thought, a focus, a grander design beyond just one person and one outlook in terms of what we're doing and who we are. Each and every person here is a contribution to a movement. What does that mean? That means that what they bring to the table isn't limited by what another person brings to the table. They are that with them, they are that regardless. And that is a resource. And we have long denied these resources the ability to stand on their own individual platforms and actually do something that we all coexist and latch onto, not in a parasitic way, but in a way where their platform grows as well. Now, a lot of times we've been able to move on borrowed time and move past that idea, move past the notion that we have these people in front of us that are very necessary, and we keep acting like we can just live everyday life as if it's nothing else. Just a lonely road, as Q just said. You know, word to Green Day. I walk a lonely road, the only road that I've ever known. I don't know where it goes, but it's home to me, so I walk alone. I guess so. All I'm saying is that now this is the perfect time to align something. You can call it a school, a university, whatever, but the main processing board of it is preparing you. Preparing you for what? Preparing you for yourself. You're waking up. You need to know how to work with yourself, how to listen to yourself, how to give yourself what you need. You need to know all these things in the basis of who you are, not in something to write down and study, in something to allow to openly talk to you. So, you know, without running on and on, I would like everybody to introduce themselves as well.
Perfect. That was perfect, by the way. Well said.
Thank you. I'm still a little nervous. Oh, am I still connected?
You're still good, bro.
I'll go first. I introduce myself. My name is Q. I have a channel on YouTube called Q Reeves. I'm a subconscious specialist. Basically, what that is I deal with the subconscious. I do something called regressive therapy. I've done over 1,500 regression hypnosis sessions and have discovered and unlocked a lot of different things from people. A lot of people often get information from books or elders or what we would call the conscious state. I kind of went a different direction and started learning my understanding through the subconscious realm and through the subconscious of others. So I would say, I'm happy to be here. This was already in motion. I'm just happy to catch up to it on a conscious level. And, the concept of us coming together and not arguing with each other is important. So I'm here just for that.
All right, who's going next? Don't make me go next. It's my channel.
Well, shoot, I could go next. Nice to meet y'all, man. My name is Ndaylay Garrett. I am a senior at Morehouse College. So if some of y'all, I know some of y'all have been and had some experiences in the AUC before. So yeah.
I went to Clubhouse, bro.
Yeah. I can't wait to talk about that. Yeah. Facts.
Fired.
Yeah, but so yeah, almost finished with that. I'm really just here. I met Gibby a couple years ago, and we've been on a spiritual journey ever since. And I'm just excited to hear what y'all have to say and chime in every once in a while.
What's your superpower?
Presence.
That's a fucking superpower, bro. If I've ever fucking seen one, especially today. Well said. All right, next.
I'm Alchemy of Life. You can call me an alchemist, spiritual alchemist, even, and an herbalist. I have my own business.
An herbalist.
About maybe 10 years, but really seriously, the last 3 or 4 years. And I'm here because it's very interesting to have like there's always a meeting of the masters. Napoleon Hill always talks about things like that. So I'm interested to see how this all goes down, because I'm a firm believer in everybody who's doing this on this level, like in another plane, has like their own mystery school. So this is just bringing things down to the earth.
You gotta tether it, dude. You gotta tether it.
Just want to turn it up a little bit, bro.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, that sounds better.
Okay.
A lot better. Yeah, get the mic. Just get the mic as close as you can, dude. Like just a couple inches away.
All right, that should be good.
Who? Yeah. Say give it again. Alchemy. A lot of the people couldn't hear you. I didn't catch the beginning part too.
Oh, okay. So, I'm Alchemy of Life. You can call me a spiritual alchemist or an alchemist. I have my own business. I'm into herbs, herbology, and all of that. I met Keith like a while ago through his what series was it? Your Emerald Tablet series. So that's how I was able to meet him, and I'm like, okay, he's on to something, because I was reading and into those same texts. But I believe that everybody who's doing this on this level, whether you know it or not, in another plane, has your own mystery school where you assert what you know, and hopefully those who get it, and those who don't, they don't. But we're all doing this somewhere else. So it's just, I'm interested to see how everything comes down to the earth, because everything's elemental, earth, air, fire, water, and spirit. So if we're talking over air, using our passion, fire, with gathering our emotions and, the energy, and then you have earth, that's very, very important, So I'm just interested to see how everything plays out.
Sure.
Absolutely. Shay.
Jared.
Jared Keefe.
What's up?
But it's Jared.
Jared. Really? I didn't realize you.
Yeah.
That's right. All right, my
That's
bad.
the French.
And I spelled
That's the French.
Andelay's name wrong too. So just
It's okay.
my bad.
But yeah, I'm Jared, aka Lemuria, and I'm a junior at Hamlin University. I'm up here in St. Paul, Minnesota. How would I describe myself? That's a very good question. I am a energy healer, I would say, and a channel of sorts.
What kind of sorts?
Could you repeat that, Keith?
What kind of sorts? You said a channeler of sorts.
I would say I resonate mostly with the starseed energies, I would say. And what I feel is my mission here on the earth plane at this point in time is to kind of embody those energies and bring them down in a practical way on the earthly plane that people can actually use. But yeah, just a little bit about me.
There's
Is
a
there any
common
specific
theme.
star system you connect to, bro?
Arcturus, just like Keith, Arcturus gang.
Thanks for that.
We're gonna have to do star seeds in a sec. Just as you got done, dude, the homie Earl over at Spiritual Initiate, if I can jump in the room.
Hey, what's up, y'all? How y'all doing,
Peace,
family?
peace, peace, family.
What's up, fellas?
So
Oh, we got some brothers in here. Oh, we doing our thing.
Oh my god.
All right. Dang.
He said, oh my god.
Yeah.
All right, quick bio. Give us your elevator.
Oh, how y'all doing? My name is Spiritual Initiate, also known as Earl Anderson. I've been helping people tap into spirituality for the past, I would say, 4 years. I was really into it for about the past 6. So I just liken myself as being like a gateway to help people just get the gist of these spiritual things so they can go on their own thing, because there's so many paths to it. So I try to help people see the light so we don't get caught up in a lot of deceptions that I'm here for. So, that's the quick banger, I make spiritual t-shirts, I'm trying to get these out of here. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's it.
Word.
Yep. Thanks, man. Perfect time and jumping in. And most of you guys know me. My name's Keith, hosting the channel. Thanks for the newcomers from all the other circles joining in. I specialize in the Hermetic philosophy, which is sort of the distilled version of alchemy, emerald tablets, paganism. Is pretty much the distilled mechanical aspects of every spiritual practice I've ever come across, which is why I fucking decided to write a book on it, because what better way to learn about a subject, its ins and its outs, other than writing a book on it. So I published a book on the Hermetic philosophy, and it basically just applied everything that's happening in the modern day to these ancient practices or laws to show that they're fucking just as relevant, if not more relevant than ever. And amongst other things, that's about it. So cool. Thanks everyone for showing up. The vibe tonight is sort of a spiritual curriculum, however that may show up. I don't know if that's not necessarily a school, a brick and mortar school or something like that, but it could show up as pamphlets or maybe a new way of thought or a new way of coming together. I'm really enjoying this so far because I've been tapping into a lot of these sort of gathering of heads lately, and a vast majority of them are not useful. They're not even positive half the time, mostly in circles like Clubhouse and Stereo, which I've been trying to crack into lately, but it's like a lot of it just seems overly pessimistic and woe is me and everyone sucks and the world sucks and humans are shit and humanity's parasites, and it's just they haven't been useful conversations. And I'm getting the feeling thus far that this isn't going to be one of those, and I'm so stoked. It seems like everyone's fucking I don't know which one of you said it earlier, but it was like we all independently of each other can stand on our own and fucking slay, but like to coordinate it in such a way is extremely powerful, useful, necessary, fucking fun and entertaining. Like I'm having a good time doing it. So thanks everyone for showing up, and the people in the chat room. Thank you guys for showing up. And we'll just freestyle from here, fellas. If you guys want to chime in or anything's coming through that you seems imperative, by all means.
Well, just let me just throw some things out real quick. So Clubhouse, you're so right with that. And it hasn't just been Clubhouse. It's been most of these different outlets lately. They've just been extremely draining. And you're usually supposed to go on those platforms to release some of the pressures that you're dealing with from reality. You're supposed to be able to not have to deal with the pressure and the coldness of reality when you come into these platforms. But for some reason, it seems even more cold. I hear people say, pour their heart out, literally tell their stories. Okay, on to the next one. I'm like, whoa, you didn't even digest what this person just said.
Everything is so fast.
And that's killing me. I can't even be around that. That's why I got into the field I'm in right now, because of the phoniness of the reality. It don't matter what job I kept running into as an adult. They wanted me to be fake. They wanted me to lie. They wanted me to be uncomfortable. They wanted me to be a part of their world. And this is about my soul. This is about my soul. I'm here to gain information for my soul, not for my legs, not for my hand, not for the individual parts of me that got their own agendas, if you think of it like that. I'm here for my soul. It's soul gang. So I'm hoping we here for soul gang, for us to be able to be empathetic to each other's soul mission, to be empathetic to everybody's soul story. I'm here for it, and I'm happy I'm here.
Okay, so I feel what Q is saying, because basically in the right now it's a lot of air and fire magic going on, so it's all spirit, but there's no soul to it. You know what I'm saying? They're not feel. They're let's say I know, but they don't feel along with it. This reality, it's missing that feeling, which is foundational for everything, you know, because they want to fuck with half, you know, with two different frequencies, two different elements, but they don't want the whole thing, because the five together brings you into your soul. So I see what you're saying.
Like always, they want to negate one of the most important elements, you know, the frame, the earth, the foundation, the mother. And as we keep leaving her out of these bickeries, you know, it's like we keep running to the Father for an answer. And clearly the Father is like, So when
I'm up here, yo. I got this. I'm handling the light. I'm handling the sun. Y'all got to take care of the earth.
Thank you. Couldn't even say no better. Thank you.
I was gonna say something and you got me on a tangent. So, all right, well, so we've addressed the problem of, which is a good point. I'm glad you brought that up with it's turned into a dumping grounds for our shit, which is necessary. You need a latrine, otherwise you're going to give everyone fucking blood poisoning in the camp. However, it's turned into a little bit too much where no one really cares about anyone else. They just care about dumping their own shit off. Fair enough, which is going to happen. So what would be a good solution then to have a place where people can all throw their shit, but it'd be a useful place to do it, where maybe we'll turn the shit into manure. You know what I mean? Some human manure. People are onto that shit, I swear. But right now there seems to be nothing useful out of it.
Like a literal app called Shit Show, where people just go and dump their shit.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
That's the purpose, which is needed. Like people need to dump their shit.
A digital purge. Somewhere where people can purge their emotions out, but digitally.
You know what's interesting though? That's how I kind of started my YouTube channel. Like I was learning so much information, but I didn't have anyone to really tell it to. None of my friends or, you know, family I could really like pour into it, because it's just like at a whole different level. So I was like, man, the only way I can get it out is go in front of a camera. Just you know what I'm saying? So it's weird, because sometimes I think like, you know, my digital life to my real life, because, you know, when I'm out on a job like that, I keep it straight work, because I already know most people, they're not on this until they show me something that we might kick it. And I actually found out that there's a lot of people who are waking up, and that's actually very good to see, because a lot of people, even if it's not as deep as we may know, not to say that we know everything, but you know, it's always levels to it, but you still happy to hear that people are waking up, even if it's about food, if it's about government shit, if it's about what's going on with medical stuff, people are waking up. So Shoot, I think
Did you find it easier that way? Because you have so many people in the spiritual community complain, like, I try to tell my neighbors, I try to tell my family, like you're forcing it. Like and does it feel better on you the way you're doing it? Kind of wait for them to come to you compared to you going to them.
yes, it feels better because I feel like they recognize the energy. I think something, whatever happens, they feel like, because I've always been a person, people spill their guts to me any damn way. Even at work, man, Earl, regular stuff. So, but it's all good. So sometimes people like, so you heard about so like, for example, I was spinning game on Elon Musk, taking tests, and 2 came out positive, 2 came out negative. I'm not sure if you ever heard about that. What happened today? So I was kicking game on that. So people about this whole scam everything. I'm trying to use code words. I ain't trying to
if you could, by all means, if it slips, no worries.
Yeah. But so I'm just kicking game with that, and that kind of opened up some people like, yo, I didn't know that. Like, dang, whoa, because it's something that we're all dealing with. So you hit them with something that's like it's undeniable. It's in your face. What's up? It's gonna make people think. So sometimes when you see them open up, then you can hit them with something. You can slide something a little bit more potent for them, so they can get something, so they can, let that seed grow. So to answer your question quick, Q, it's sometimes it's good, but sometimes I feel like I should be doing more. Sometimes I feel like, man, maybe I should. Hey, bro, hey, sis, sometimes I feel like that. So there's always that,
Yeah, same. I feel the same way, bro. I can relate.
I feel you on that one, Earl. That's how I started my YouTube channel some years ago. I just did it. I had so much information and knowledge and that I was processing and becoming wisdom. I was like, well, what do I do? Like if you look at the evolution of my channel, I started off like cooking in the kitchen and then talking about, spending a little game on, this book or that book. And then it revolved up into me just in front of the camera. This is what I'm learning, guys. You don't have to walk this path, but, just informing, and whatever you do with that is what you do with that to, it has put me where I need to be, on the journey of my soul. I don't know where I would really be if I hadn't, took that leap. Because sometimes we have so much processing in our brains and we have so much coming in that we have to put it has to have a space, Jupiter, in expansion. So that's basically how I got onto it. And, I think we all go through that path of like, once we get onto something, wanting to tell everybody about it. That's just like the natural flow of things. Like if you find out, oh yeah, go to this store, they got the good deal on this, or it starts off on the mundane level like that until you get to this type of thing. And I really want to tell them about this and that, the third, but a little bit of it is our ego, and the other aspect is, coming from a good place, So
the ego can come from a good place too. The ego is definitely capable of both good and bad, for sure.
And I just deal with it basically. If they ask me questions, feel free. That's when I, come in and I'll answer them the best way I can. If not, I just leave it be. I leave it at the level that it's at.
What do we want to say now? So we all have said our things in the past. I don't know if you guys have done a lot of reading by Napoleon Hill, the dude who did Think and Grow Rich. He wrote this dope ass book called Interview with the Devil, where he says he interviewed the devil on the devil's tricks. Anywho, one of the things he talks about is a mastermind, where when 2 or more people get together, an actual independent entity evolves from the meeting of those 2 or more minds, called the mastermind. So you have 10 people. So we, according to that theory, have our own mastermind of Q, Jared, Keith, Andele, Jabron, Alchemy, or like all of us. There's an 8th fucking independent entity of us right now. So like what's up?
Nothing, my bad. There's 7 people in here. That's just interesting. That's very interesting.
Well, there's right. 7. Well played.
And it's 9:36. Well, where I'm at.
That's what I'm fucking saying. All right. So now that the stars have aligned, what is a good thing to now, as a mastermind, try to project into the world? Like what
So a mastermind in any comic book has always tried to take over a world. Take over the world on what? An idea. So if I was to hear that concept, how can we take over the world? But I don't mean take over the world in nefarious ways. I mean, how can we start figuring out things as a community that is the set standard? For example, if I was to look up chakra right now, why does Hindu have to be directly attached to it? I know people outside of the Hindu culture that honor and practice chakras, and I understand showing allegiance to something, but we now need a singular new definition
of everything
in some of the minds,
or just of being human.
I think
concept.
we need to now help start giving clear definition on what it means to exist, what it means to be human, what it means to be human in 2022. And that's crazy that we're about to enter 2022 and we have to have a discussion on what it means to be human.
A lot of people don't know because of the deception that everyone's been dealing with. And it's crazy that people are not realizing. I mean, people are realizing it, but there's still people that's just not there yet for whatever reason.
And Earl, they want us to kill each other. This is not supposed to be possible. What we're doing right now, by their standards, is not supposed to happen. We're supposed to be killing each other, not coming up with ways to better the world, not coming up with terms that would allow anyone on any land to understand what something may mean. They all speak in English. They all honoring this spelled magic. So what are we doing with it? What are we doing with it?
Can I throw a word out there for what y'all are doing to me? What it seems like this is to me. This seems like spiritual activism. Every time we have a movement, right? We always okay. Y'all heard that J. Cole song where at the end, basically he says that, you know what I'm saying, all of the change that needs to happen inside of you, and that's the real revolution. And so every time we have a movement, we all do these outward things. We all go out, we have walkouts, we have protests, we beat our chests, we fuck up a police car, we do something, and then we come back.
We don't fuck up police cars though. We just other people do. Not affiliated to anyone, beating up people or just. I had to disclaim that. That's all. My bad. Carry on.
But people get bold is my point, and the reason that we're seeing some people use these outlets and use, I don't know, maybe violence or maybe anger and some of these things in the way that they use them is because they haven't gotten to have these spiritual connections or these spiritual conversations. And so what you guys are doing is making this available to the public for people. And that's important because what we are going through right now is inherently a psychological kind of warfare as much as it is a physical warfare for people who understand the fight that's going on.
Yeah, that's literally COVID, code dual, code, and then vid, like video, like a vision. They are literally showing us two visions. We're literally fighting against two different gods, an organic God versus inorganic God. This Hugh God versus Digi God. This human versus Digi man. Like that, we are on the brink. We are alive when we are literally seeing an Old Testament and New Testament. We are alive during the time of Jesus. It's real shit. It's real shit. Y'all can argue what you want, but the closest person we got to this Jesus figure is Kanye West. Is Ye. That's why really named the Ye.
I'm gonna need a PowerPoint presentation for that before I buy that. I'm gonna need references, citations. They all need to be within the past 6 years.
The boy created a Bible and changed every word to Ye. That's the proof. The boy that did his own Bible.
He did. But convincing the masses toward ridiculous things isn't necessarily only possible.
We also have to agree MK Ultra is a real thing. Remember?
Oh yeah, for sure.
We also got it. And just like he went crazy as hell in the temple, turning over tables and went outside his character, this is a part of the Christ story.
The character we were sold, at least, because if you read the Bible of your own accord and make your own decisions on what it means, you're definitely not going to be like, oh, Jesus was hella chill. You're like, no, Jesus was fucking fired up half the time, dude. I mean,
his father was fired up.
Water into wine was his first act of miracle when he was like 13. The homie was like, I'm ready to drink
more
wine.
I'm ready
Say
to drink.
less, fam. Boom. Good one.
I'm ready to drink.
Yeah, she was right on that. Basically, because, you know, Kanye, yay, if you get the etymology, it means you.
Yee.
So he's
Mhm.
saying you
Yee.
are Christ, first and foremost. So he's crucifying himself, which he doesn't have to, but since he's working with that energy, a lot of the times when you work with a deity or an energy, you're walking that path.
Now, may I say one thing, and I don't mean to, in any offense to cutting you off there, but in that, I would like to say that even as a man walketh, whether he chooses to or not, it's in his DNA to walk that path. He walks so in the term of his environment. So what does that mean? That means his environment needed a Christ. He's from Chicago. So if you
Same
think
here.
about it, in Chicago's essence, Chicago needed what? Chicago needed to consistently be revived over and over and over, not in a sense of a savior, but in the sense of a grid because of what it represents. If we go into the deeper sciences of what a Christ is, we understood that every people had their Christ. True, every grid had its main crystal and metal network, but what it also had was the ability to center something to somebody and be like, listen, I don't know what I'm doing. And you look like somebody I know in another life. Show me what I was doing before. Not necessarily telling me what I need to be doing, but show me how it feels to not know what the fuck you're doing. Show me what it feels like to not get what's going on, but you still got this thing inside of you you need to put out there to make sense so you can make sense. And so you could just be like, all right, I'm okay. Even though you're not, but just to, maintain that form there. So when you think of a Christ, of a Jesus, of a Genesis, of a whatever you want to call it, you think of somebody you as the people choosing to be the people have chosen to put up in front of you to help you. So in that way, you do have to accept him as that type of Christ figure because that's what you've done. You've put him in the position now where not many are willing to do what he's done before, just like many people on this dais right here. So it's not in a sense of what you believe. It's not about it's never been about what you believe. It's about what are you paying attention to? You're paying attention to Kanye no matter what he's wearing, what money he's making, who he's marrying, who he's divorcing, all that. He ain't asked you to, it ain't got to be no kind of magic or nothing for the fact that you willingly pay attention to this man. You let him run up around and wear your Jesus's name like that. He wears that because you let him. 20 years ago, you couldn't catch a man doing that. Just as Dick Gregory would say, if Cedric the Entertainer said what he said in Barbershop about the Queen of Elizabeth, that nigga been dead, period. So what are we really talking about? We're talking about the fact that we're participating to a rhythm that we're not acknowledging. And I'm saying we as in the people, just speaking as the people, because the people don't understand that when they contribute to themselves being the people, they then have a person. You have an earth, you have a sun and a moon. If you're going to call yourself earth, you're going to need a sun and a moon. You're going to call yourself the people, you're going to need a shepherd, sheeple. You're going to need a Jesus. Hey, ye got the job. Period.
Fair.
Earn the job, whether we want to acknowledge it or not.
Let me go back.
Summers.
But okay, so I'll elaborate off of that. So the stage was already, pretty much for anybody of that nature, for any of these figures, the stage was actually, set very slowly, very, very earth-like, very Taurus-like, more Capricorn-like, very low and slow, because you have this thing, you start off with, and it goes back all the way to ancient times, but I'll speak within the last 100 years. So, you have the invention of the radio. Now you got everybody huddled around their radios, then the TV, and then Hollywood. And then now you give them, you set it up to where when they come home from the 9 to 5, they watch TV. They, the man plays with his wife, goes to bed, tells his kids, all of that. So it's basically like, setting the stage for like Hollywood, for people to like give them their energy like that because they just want to be entertained.
All right. So speaking of setting the stage, thank you. That was a perfect segue. I wanted to go back and we talked about a clear definition. You were harping on hard Q of when I asked about a mastermind, a game plan for what we're trying to project into the world with this coalition. The problem is, you said we need a clear definition. We do agree. The problem is so that we have a fucking monster to fight. No one wants to clearly define anything today because we're super into this. Everything is subjective. It's all about perspective. There's no truth. That that conversation, which means you can't easily define anything, which means you don't really have. If you can't define anything, if everything is subjective, how the fuck can you say that your goal is a worthwhile one? And that's part of the confusion that I'm finding, especially people who reach out to me and I'm doing these sorts of talks. I'm like, hey, you need to define your shit. Like, you need to drop this fucking wishy-washy, totally go with the flow. Like, you're super on the passive side, but you got to balance that shit out on the opposite. There's got to be like a rhythm to it. And that's what people don't have. People don't have that. No, they don't have definition, and the whole culture, especially spirituality, totally shits on fucking like on reality, like on the practical, what we can see and feel and touch. It's like, yes, it's an illusion, fair, but it's a fucking persistent illusion. It's real as far as we're all concerned. You know what I mean? It's like, do you want to live in a world in which you're shit on all the time, or do you want to live in an illusion where you're being shit on all the time, or an illusion where you're fucking killing it? And it's like, you know what I mean? You're in the same
Right. Right.
Well, this is what I say. I often acknowledge that this is like worlds next to worlds, worlds within worlds. Christianity and their churches is a world. Mormonism is a world. There are worlds that coincide with other worlds. Mm-hmm. We need our own world and needs to start defining our own world. Plus, I realized that worlds ran off of way less people. Worlds ran 500 years ago. We didn't have nowhere near as many people as we have right now, and the world was being ran. So we can do things if a few of us are willing to take the leap and say, this is the definition. If I say blue is blue and you agree, you know what, that's blue, and the other 10 say that's blue, that's our world. And we have the right to say that's blue within our world and say, hey, if any of you else see this jacket and say it's blue, come on overboard. And we're trying to make it slow and simple. We can't sit here and say that we know how to levitate boulders, but the goal is to learn how to get to the point where we can. I think that's how we need to do it. We got to twist it. They lie. We know how to levitate boulders. Like, that's how they coming onto this TV, this internet. And it's like, do you though? Well, are we willing to see?
When do we get to the flying boulders?
Right.
Then I can levitate.
10 Dayton's later, 10 Scientologist books later, you still ain't learned how to do it. You still ain't see the craft. You still nothing.
It's because you don't believe, bro. That's why you would levitate the boulder if you believed harder.
And then they put it on the person.
Your
they
fault.
blame them.
Yeah, it's your fault.
And they get good at blaming the other person for their program not working.
See that? I mean, to play devil's advocate, that's fair, because the world, this spiritual world that we exist in and that we tamper with and that pervades everything, is hard to define. It is hard. Like, that's what I mean. I don't mean to say that I don't want to be completely on either side. It is hard to define. It is wishy-washy. It is subjective, but it's also its opposite. And like, how could we navigate, our lives and how we want to create shit, knowing that, utilizing both areas of the playing field, knowing when to be passive, knowing when to be active. You know what I mean? Like, awareness. That's why you said your superpower was awareness. That's how that shit happens. Like, that's how you're navigating life effectively, is extreme awareness of how do you feel? What are your goals? How is your relationship? Like, what are you gonna do? You know what I mean?
Christianity didn't just pop up. It was timing. They had to wait to Judaism to start failing. That for Christianity to rise. If we don't pay attention to this beast, this system is falling right now as we speak. Now is the time for us to figure it out, because we're going to get less pushback. their system is falling apart because the people that they had in place to keep these systems going are falling apart. Now, whether they're pulling them away, that's to talk about, that's debatable. But the fact that they are disappearing is evident. So there are more opportunities for us to be able to start defining things and not have as much tension. Now, there's certain things we can't attack, or certain things that we're not going to be dealing with. Like, for example, would our world refuse homosexuality or the practices of homosexuality? Is that even something that we could even get into discussion about? First off, do we have any homosexual members?
I don't know.
world?
That's a good question.
But do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's
I do.
not
I do
offensive.
100%.
We have to start communicating.
Yes, agreed.
And that's all I'm on. Worlds did successful when they were on the same page. That's the whole Babylon myth.
I was just about to say, dude, don't make me tell you the story of Babel where he was like, wait, you guys are working as one? Sorry, we can't have that, fam. Smash it, spread them, confound them so they can't understand each other because they're like the gods when they work as one.
But how much success probably came out of there? I know one thing that came out of Babylon, the Torah.
Mexican food.
Lesson right there.
I just had some street tacos yesterday.
Fucking, you know what? Orange chicken came out of fucking the Collabs. So yeah, I'm definitely not hating on anything too much. I'll always slide it.
I think the point that y'all are, I mean, the collective ideology of what we're talking about right now, just overall, given our different perspectives, is the point. But I think the point that y'all are also very much so building to is correct, in the sense that you need something well defined to make out of this to define a person now. Basically, what you're doing with the school is building a person. You have to be very real with that. And it's not in a sense of building a person as, but building a person that is, you know, putting them together vis-a-vis how they learn themselves, how they learn what they're doing, how they learn what they want, all that. So when it comes to putting this thing together, in reality, all I'm trying to get us to see is that it already is put together. You don't need to necessarily continuously focus on a single curriculum when you have enough people in each facet of that whole idea of a curriculum that can build it themselves. What do I mean? So you bring up the idea of a Kanye Jesus figure, right? Well, Jesus wasn't the only one out there. You had Joseph, as in his brother Joseph, because he had another brother named Joseph. You had a person. Oh, I'm not about to sit here and name all the apostles, but you see, you have the idea that for every person, yes, they ruled a tribe, but they ruled an idea. There was a tribe that carried.
Oh yeah, they had their own character. They had their what's the
covered the meat. There was a tribe that covered the wheat. There was a tribe that covered the numbers, the pages, all the whatever you want to talk about. The point is that you don't have to be a rocket scientist mastermind in a field to understand that you can lean on a person who's going to be just as equally covered in the field that you're trying to learn next to you. There's an innumerable amount of different specialities within one thing. You talking about being an orator on the basis of poetry, on the basis of learning, on the basis of what are you talking about? You have a person here that can learn that, a person here that can teach that, a person here that can show that. It's about leaning on everybody around you. So the basis of what I'm trying to really put here for the public wise, because I already have my own thing when it comes to the days. Everybody up here is necessary. And I don't mean to put that in a sense to make anybody else outside of this who isn't necessarily connected to it feel unnecessary. But what I'm saying is that everything serves a purpose. And you're about to enter a period. You're already in a period, but it is what it is. You're about to enter a period where if you do not have a purpose, you do not have a standpoint. And that is more than a job. That is more than the idea of an education. That is more than the idea of working with the person next to you. Honestly, as weird and ironic as that sounds with what I'm just saying, it's about who are you? Who are you to who? You have a whole show called Doctor Who. The nigga was the savior of the universe, but he never called himself that. So he kept running around trying to figure out what his whole purpose was, even though he kept fulfilling his purpose. Everybody he kept coming in contact with.
How can an apple tree not produce apples? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Basically, how can an apple tree not produce apples and then believe that it's fulfilling its purpose?
It's not. Who's it producing the apples for? This is when the apple tree no longer produces apples.
Does it care? Does the apple tree care?
Yes.
It does?
Yes. Do you care?
If I assume that the apples are the overflow, and I guess sometimes I do care who goes to the overflow. I'm thinking like stuff that I get you.
The apple is so it can connect.
Yes.
If the tree never produces the apple, it never gets to connect to the squirrel, to man of letters. This is about connection. So when they sever that connection, aka sever the identity of things, this is what we're getting into. The severing of identity. Why? Because we're entering a multiverse where you can be whatever you want.
Exactly.
And the only way you're going to agree to do that is to sever your identity now. That's the purpose. But we don't have to have that in our world. That's their world. Facebook, that's their world.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not judging you if you choose to enter that world an hour, 2 hours.
I'm going in, dude.
I ain't about to be around you if 10 hours a day you in that world. What are you doing in this world? That's what I'm on. I ain't here to judge. That just don't make sense. What are you doing in the world if you can't contribute to it?
Well, I guess the idea would be if everything's an illusion, back to what I said before, what if some people truly believe that they'd rather live out the illusion in the fairyland digital realm as compared to their shit job?
Even in the illusion, you still have a purpose, because then you still fall on the idea of a job, because you're then fulfilling somebody else's purpose for you. And that's the collision course that you need to have in order to realize who you are. When you realize you're doing something else for somebody else, then you realize, oh shit, this isn't the story I'm supposed to be in. Let me get the fuck out of here, and you get out of the illusion, because you can't make do with an illusion. You can't. You have over 100 currencies in the world right now. That doesn't make any sense. If you look at the idea of a credit system, all of it doesn't make any sense. But you still have to realize that it does make sense because it got to that point somehow. Therefore, even that was a purpose somebody has to fulfill. Nobody is not fulfilling a purpose.
Facts.
Just because in the realm of confusion is something that you can step in and out of sometimes, doesn't necessarily mean that there's any real disarray. It's a realm of confusion. The real matter of confusion, where it matters. Where does it matter? In its own realm, to itself. So when you think of the idea of defining something and why people are so loose with everything right now, you think of what you have both talked about, and both being Keith and Keith, in the realm of a mother, a father, the idea of the original molecules, and the idea of what nature and everything compounds to in terms of an origin point. You think about things that thought of themselves as something before anything else ever knew what the fuck it was. And you're coming to terms with the fact that those things, whether you want to call them mother and father, brother and sister, daughter and son, whatever you're calling them, you're realizing that they've come to collect. What does that mean? What does that mean? You don't feel that you don't sleep as much as you used to anymore. You don't feel how lighter everything may feel when you exit the home, how it may feel like it's in somebody else's hands because you haven't paid attention to everything around you. Like I know I could kind of fly off the rim with things, you know, I need to ground myself, but at the same time, no. You have to realize that you won't be able to latch on to every word that we're saying in this chat if you aren't able to latch on to your own consciousness. Like you can't, if you're looking at this at a black mirror, you know, what are you really looking at? You're looking at a projection. If you want to talk about illusions, you're still just talking about a projection. Who's controlling the projection? That's it. You're still focused on somebody else's light. But nigga, we're still able to make some light. Where are we going? Stop telling me what I need to do for you and start helping me help you, because you're telling me what I need to do for you because you don't know what the fuck to do for yourself. You need a boss.
Or looking for permission, or what's the word, or validation You know, that I feel like that would, in that sense, then would be most of the problem. It's like we do know, you're just afraid to do it because of what the homies will think, or maybe I'll fail, or you know.
You validate my parking. Why are you validating me still? What the hell?
You saying something, Ndaylay?
No. Keep going.
Oh, no. I'm good. I thought you were trying to chime in.
No, I didn't hear you. Go ahead.
I just said something about money. That's usually anytime people are going through something and can't do it, it's something about money. And we coming to this conclusion about what money is and how we conceive it and how we feel about the distribution of resources right now. But none of us have really taken that step to say that we don't give a fuck about it.
That's right.
Or about the paper, or about the rules, or about none of the monetary system shit. Not to say that we shouldn't have a system there to replace that, or to have something in place, and which is why we're seeing the rise of certain currencies that have nothing to do with the American dollar, like Bitcoin, but that have everything to do with the American dollar, right?
That's right.
And so the way that we're starting to, and when you guys say that people are waking up, that's one of the ways that people are waking up, is that people are starting to think about shit like money different and frankly, truthfully.
So I'm curious on how your overall lifestyle is. Are you more of on the anarchist, tear shit down side? Like we need to get, they're both not saying that's bad. Like that's needed just as much as its opposite. I'm just curious, like where do you stand?
I think when we talk about chaos doesn't always look like shit on fire.
Well said, 100%. Yeah.
And I think that's where sometimes we go wrong with this conversation, is that anytime we talk about chaos, we're like, oh, well, shit needs to be burned down, or things need to be, and really chaos could be as simple as everybody deciding to sit at fucking home and say that they're not doing what they want to fucking do today.
COVID is chaos.
No.
COVID is chaos.
Good day.
COVID is producing the program of chaos for sure.
But the system that we're in anyway, it's parasitic, so it's eating itself alive. We ain't gonna do nothing.
I was about to say, dude, the chaos could be chaos for the old system that's on the way out. We could just get the chaos is on you guys, and just shift it a little.
Well, remember, you said is the purpose to tear it all down.
Well, that was my question.
Yeah, but think about it. When I say tear it all down, instantly in your mind, you're seeing fire, you're seeing revolt in the streets, you're seeing tear it down as a negative. No, the bridge is falling apart. Tear that shit down. Like this is a agreed collective idea. America needs $6 billion to help its highways. Like build it back better. Like they're already on it. It's already in the works. Like it's now just get hip to their lingo. Like that's also why they need us right now, so we can help them get hip to this lingo, because it's already chaos. We're already in the age of chaos because
that's right.
And shit is already getting torn down. You got people running out of Louis Vuitton with $10,000 worth of merchandise every weekend. Every weekend. It's already getting torn down, but they gave up on this. They're switching it to the digital metaverse. I just signed up for Adidas NFT, and I was like, oh yeah, this is cool. You know what I'm saying? What they want, like $50, $100? No, you can only buy it in Ethereum, and it equates to $875. What for an Adidas floating little spinny thing that it said on my email that you would be able to wear this on your clothes or bring it into the metaverse? That's what it said, clear as day, right on the email. Oh, man. They already gave up on this stuff. I don't care if you steal it. I don't care.
Now,
and I'm like, they need to be hip, like survive, defend yourself, protect yourself, come together, don't walk alone. Be in groups now. Used to be black men in a car driving around was dangerous because the police is going to pull you over. But now there's less and less police. This is evident. Now it needs to be black men in a car because this black men getting hung from trees. It's wild right now. It's crazy right now. We need to survive and still be hip to what's kind of happening. We don't need to be in panic mode. We don't got to be in like, oh my God, we can't handle this. No. And we don't have to be fear-based. I didn't say anything on this platform yet that would get us shut down or removed. This is truth. This is evident. This is what we on. This is what they on. They go agree with what we saying. You right. We are about to tear it the fuck down. That's what they saying.
Yeah.
Build it back better.
And like,
So, I'll throw in what. Oh my, go ahead.
Like he was saying, like what he means is by tearing it down, you know, because he said he's a subconscious specialist. It's of the subconscious, the constructs that are latent there from these systems, all revolve around symbols, trauma, and then the repetition of those things. So then, you know, then they're trying to move the symbol trauma, you know, the metaverse, you know, Facebook was the symbol for that. Okay. And trauma is just a spike in emotions. Okay. So then how do you feel about the metaverse? You know, it's going to, you know, they're going to play off of people's feelings because you're going to be able to accomplish things inside of there that people aren't accomplishing in their actual physical lives.
Yeah.
So it's compensation. So then the repetition of that, and then they just built a whole new world inside of your mind instead of you doing it. You know, that's basically, so you tear that down, you tear these constructs down, and then now, you know, that's the chaos, you know, you got to make some order out of that. So you tear it down, what will you make out of that?
That's where I was getting at with that question, was like, historically speaking, just burning everything to the ground to even the playing field, or bringing everything, you know, even if it's not burning it down, even if it's means of production or intellectual property or advancements in technology, to take it to ground zero means you sort of, all of that comes to a halt. And I guess,
yeah, so you just got to know what you're going to do, you know. Okay, that's step one. So you should already know what you're going to do, or hopefully be ready to be about that.
Yeah.
Which is what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
Because they've been hijacking our imagination since Looney Tunes.
Yep. I spoke on that a couple.
So when we get a blank canvas and you got a paintbrush and you're like,
you start fucking painting the like coyote and shit. Yeah.
Stick figures. You start painting stick figures when we coming from 3D designs. That's what I'm worried about for humanity. If you really want to know my concern, they're getting stupid. As I'm dealing with people every day, I'm realizing stupidity, like the movie Idiocy or something. There was a movie that came out called Idiocy that showed the future where the world went stupid. And that's literally what I'm seeing at these drive-throughs. I just be left like, what?
Yeah.
Stop.
It was like 573. And I gave her $10.73. And I was like, here, I'm giving you $10.73. She was like, huh, no, it's $5.73. I said, honey, I don't have $5. Like she glitched.
Yeah,
like she glitched.
You see it, man. You see the fucking glitch. You see it in their eyes. You do. You do.
Not the 1 in 9 people are real.
And that's it. Listen.
What if those are the NPCs?
But beyond NPCs, that also becomes a big thing in terms of what we're trying to do here. Who are we talking to? Who are we really talking to? You know, we got to keep in mind that not everybody we talking to, or not everybody we're talking to, we got to keep in mind of numbers. Because numbers is going to be the basis of what you're going after. Everything is done in a system of numbers. We know this. So if that's the case, if you know the basis, whether it be if you're going after an older, younger, middle-aged, whatever kind of crowd, you're going after something that can stand on its own basis. If you have a Hogwarts, if we're basically building a fucking black-ass Hogwarts right here, what is that? That's the basis. Making sure you turn these niggas into some good ass wizards. Period. You can't put no mid wizard out there, just like you can't put no mid weed out there. It's about getting something that's gonna sell, and not necessarily selling the way you think and how you adapt that. Because even if you selling something, you still building a body with the sell.
So enabling people.
Exactly.
Enabling people.
Exactly.
Real life enabling people, like whole person.
I'm trying to enable them to be independent.
Yeah.
I'm trying to enable your ass to be independent, period. And what does that mean? You got to know what the fuck we talking about. Like in reality, if you don't know a smidgen, as my aunt would say, a skosh, a fucking little of a little of a little, what the fuck we talking about? You have no footing. You have nowhere to go. You have no idea what to do. And I'm not trying to panic you. I'm just letting you know what it is. It means hop on. You got to hop on my wave. Hop on. You got a ship you standing on that's sinking. It doesn't have any holes. You ain't got nothing. You're just not doing anything to it. You know, get with the program. So what does that program look like? What are we building? I put it like this. When I first put the chat together, basically forcing everybody, I sent a video of midget wrestling. No offense to any shorter folk. You know, it's all love. We're good out here. You know, my peoples is your peoples. The point is that I was trying to, you know, just get their attention. Because right now is a very sensitive time. Tomorrow's a solstice. That's true. We still have this full moon that was in Gemini that for now some reason is still a full moon in Cancer, which is very interesting because tomorrow the sun is going to, I guess if you want to consider it, go through a dying period. That's what its you know, its orbit is.
Symbolically, right? Yeah.
It stills. Time basically dissolves in the presence of what it's doing to itself. What is it doing to itself? It's basically killing itself to bring itself through a new process of time. It cannot exist in the old process of time. What is it doing right now that's affecting us on that level? Everybody's always talking about global warming, right? Well, if you realize that the earth is heating up, at the same time that the sun is heating up,